Hello all, welcome back on another video. And today we have special guest with us, Anbu, Chief Development Architect who has almost 22 years of experience in the tech industry alone, who has so much to offer to you all. If you're someone who is studying in the college or someone fresh out of college, a seasoned developer or architect, uh, I'm sure today's conversation is going to help you a lot that I can vouch for. And Anbu, thank you so much for the time. I could manage to steal this time of Anbu from his busy schedule somehow. So thank you for that, Anbu. Thank you for your time. And going into today's conversation, diving into the first question, what has inspired you to pursue a career as a chief architect, and what did unfold in the last 22 years of you being in the industry, and what's the biggest changes, what are the biggest changes that you have witnessed so far?
Okay, first of all, hello to everyone. And yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me. This is my first interview ever, so in a kind of media. So yeah, first of all, thanks a lot for inviting me. And what did you ask? So, what inspired?
What inspired you to pursue this career as a chief architect?
See, I did not think like I will become a chief architect or so, or even I did not think like I will become an architect. In fact, when I started, I all I knew is I am going to code. This is what I know. So how I got interested in this field, maybe around 11th standard, 12th standard, that's when I think this video games started coming. So I like playing video games at that time.
Okay.
So I got somehow interested in really I related computer field with video games initially, and that's how I got interest in this. And then when this coding started in my 11th standard or 12th standard, I felt like it's like again coding is also like a video game, something of that sort I felt. Okay. So all the interest I had is towards coding and solving logics. So this is my basic interest.
Okay.
And then I started thinking of when I took the pursuit further in the career. I always went in the line wherever this computer is somewhere in place. So I did my BSc Computer Science. Then I did MCA. Then I entered into a software field.
Okay, that's to be honest, that's a very real answer, I would say. So
I never thought I have to become an architect or so. I never thought like that. Yeah, we are going to do some work, but the work we will like, we will do.
Yeah.
And that also, I think it everything fell in place. Like when I went to 11th standard, I did not take biology because that was not an interested subject for me. I cannot memorize things, but this solving logic looks like I don't have to memorize anything. It came naturally, like you have to only think about logic. You have to only think, right? You don't have to memorize anything. That's how I took in the 11th standard computer science, and then the journey went in the same direction.
Okay.
It's the starting, but then when I progressed in the career, then again there are various fields possible with, like you can become a you can take managerial role, or you can also take a functional role like a product owner also, or the technical role, right? Yeah. So that's where this architecture stream comes. Yeah. So as my passion goes towards the direction of coding or the technical line, that's how I did not choose other lines, because those looked a bit
you feel like you don't fit there.
Yeah, I don't I whether I fit or not, this looked more closer to me. So that's how I came to this direction, that becoming an architect, I mean taking the technical line naturally progressed me towards the architecture line, right? Okay. So again, I do not see huge difference between being a developer or architect. Only thing is, as a developer you will look at the smaller pieces, as an architect you will
see the bigger picture.
See the bigger picture. But for me, as of now, looks like both are same. I still do coding. And
yeah, guys, I had the privilege of working under Anbu for almost 8 to 10 months. So things that I have learned from Anbu is are of value. So that has helped me in my career as well, especially when it comes to testability. That's where I learned a lot of things from Anbu. What are the things that you need to consider when you try to test your own code? So now coming to what has changed in the last 2 decades from your experience, what do you feel that has drastically changed?
See, drastically, if you ask me personally, I don't see much change. Okay.
Okay.
See, when I started, I think before coming to SAP Labs, I was into Microsoft technologies.
Okay.
I was working with database. I like query writing, complex queries, all these things, and also I coded in Visual Basic. I think at that time there were Java, where there were various languages, but I somehow got associated myself with Microsoft technologies. But then after coming to SAP, it's all ABAP. It's a nice platform. It consolidates everything together, makes the developer life so easy.
Okay.
Later, I think SAP was also moving towards cloud, and then I also moved along with it, where SAP grew in the direction of cloud. I also moved along with it to the cloud based development. But as such, the though the technology changes, yeah, but the core principles still remain same.
Okay.
Core design principles still same, but there is a slight change in the mindset of on-premises versus cloud. That changes, and also we learn a lot of new pattern now with cloud, like microservice development and various other patterns like messaging, queue, broker. These were maybe not heavily used in the past, but
They were
now,
just theoretical. Now
they are using more, and because they are also available as reusable services, more availability is more, and these concepts are also coming up newly with more resilient architecture now.
Okay, yeah.
So there are changes for sure, but still the core of everything still remains same. When I started, if you think about the design, how do you approach problem solving, all these things remain changes. But yeah, there are some mindset change required from on-premise to cloud.
Okay.
Some mindset change is required. But even in on-premise, we had unit test, we had integration test, we had end-to-end tests, right? So also we had all this architectural design, everything remained same in on-premise world as well, but slight change in the mindset.
Okay. The core remains the same, but just the mindset changes happening
So
around.
earlier we thought like a quarterly release or half-yearly release or sometimes even yearly release, but now it is like daily we are doing
delivery, yeah.
release. So that's when this tests. In fact, you introduced when you said how you understood me. I was so hard on the test, but this comes with the cloud's mindset.
Yeah.
Earlier, yes, it was there, but how much serious we took it, or at what phase of development we did all this kind of testing, right? But now it is like part of the development itself, where we cannot relax.
Yeah.
So, earlier also was the case. I won't say it was not required, but maybe it was not emphasized much in the on-premise, like how it is emphasized in cloud.
Cloud,
That's
okay.
what I would say.
So now just looking at the tech trends, what technology or what will bring the so much change looking at the next 2 decades? Where do you think changes would come, or what technology will bring the changes?
See, again, technology, I will come to that you would have heard this word everywhere, AI, which I will come at the later point. But overall, I feel again, the trends keep coming and going, right?
Okay,
So we
yeah.
heard about blockchain, various other things. They are coming and going, but still the core remains same.
Yeah.
So now, when we hear about cloud, again, I do not think cloud will ever go away now. It will remain, but there might be other way of computing, like localized computing also is coming. There is a word, I am not getting that.
Okay.
It can also happen, the computation happens in your local device. Cloud is happening somewhere else, but then the more and more like smaller devices we are having, like we have phone, the computation happens here, as well as cloud, right?
Yeah.
So it will become again hybrid. Earlier we moved from on-premise like local to cloud. That was a change, but the situation needed it. But now we have so many devices, not everything needs to be taken to cloud. So something will also happen here. So it will become like a hybrid
computation model.
Yeah. Edge computing, sorry. The word is edge computing. But this is already happening. I do not see this like a kind of going to be disruptive also. It will happen along with cloud, along with SaaS, this will also exist. It will become like a hybrid one.
Mhm.
The more and more time evolve, the local computation power will increase.
Mhm.
So we will be able to do more. But regardless of everything, as being in this field, what changes for us? Nothing changes. The core principles remain still same.
Okay.
Where is your computational power existing? Accordingly, we will adjust design and architecture.
Mm.
Nothing changes for us. The day to day, I mean, being in software field, every day we do changes, right? So this is again one of the change. It will go with a flow only, I feel. Again, AI will become one of the important factor going forward in our development or part of the software. But again, still I feel the core principle still remains same. Not everything will become AI.
Okay.
We will keep using AI for our development. Also for developing the software itself, we can use AI. But again, part of the software, where and all can we use AI? This will also, I mean, the situation, the chances to use AI will also increase.
Okay.
So AIs are also getting better, and there are more powerful AIs coming, more cheaper AIs coming. So I feel at some point of time, the cost of AI will be like nothing. It will become like nothing.
Okay.
This
Like
is
once upon a time, the data package was so much
exactly.
price. Now it is cheap. Okay.
So then it will not become like a costly affair. I mean, it's not going to be that much costly. Or maybe, who knows, there can be a model which can run locally in your system, which is as good as ChatGPT or so. This can also happen,
Oh yeah.
right?
Okay.
So it will evolve, or to that. But as good as the data you feed for AI, that is going to be as good as that, right? So this will keep evolving. But can we do everything with AI? I think it will all be like again hybrid only. So there will be pieces you made out of AI, but still it's a software piece. There will be some communication to AI. There will be some edge computing.
Okay.
I feel maybe AI also can run locally. This is like an ambition I have.
Okay.
But then it can also be possible.
Okay.
But for as a software engineer or architect or being in this field, nothing changes for us. Change is constant.
Oh yeah, that's
Every
true.
day it's a change for us.
Yeah.
So this will be again one of the change.
Okay, so I didn't have this question to be asked today, but since you have already spoken about AI, do you feel that AI would replace the engineers or anyone who is working in the industry? What is your personal perception or opinion on this?
See, I don't think it will replace it cannot replace the engineers, but because finally we need some judgment again. But the kind of work that engineers do can get different, right? So as I already said, we can make use of AI in development, which means your productivity will increase, but we will also be able to make that much good quality software in future.
Okay.
So I feel the demand for the software will never go down, because again the world is keep changing, and then the software pieces also needs to change.
Okay.
So we will be able to produce more output, but that doesn't mean the demand will go down and the developers will be no more needed. This is not the case.
Okay.
I think what happens when any technology comes, even for the mechanical tools like tractor, when it came, what did people say? Like the farmers or the people who were ploughing the land on their own. What did they say at that time? If you ask, maybe the jobs will go, but then it only increased, right?
Yeah.
But instead of ploughing manually, they were increasing. The output became more, and the world became more prosperous.
Yeah.
I feel the world become more prosperous with the use of AI. This is what I feel.
Okay.
But not the other way around, that the demand will go down or the developers will be replaced by AI. But the developers, instead of doing all the repetitive tasks, they'll only look at the complex pieces, how to integrate things, but the individual pieces we can give it to AI and get it back. But stitching everything together, if AI can do everything, I think we don't need software development at all, right? But that can never happen, because every time you see a new pattern only, never there is a existing pattern. Wherever there is an existing pattern, that can be done by AI, which means your output will increase. The quality of output also will increase, and we can do more like sophisticated software in future.
Yeah. So with the AI, we will be building sophisticated software.
Yeah, like AI, the expectation of consumers also will grow, right?
Yeah.
So long back we had a button phone. What would be the expectation of that customer? If you give that Now with the smartphone, what is the expectation?
Okay.
Are there new releases not going to come?
No, they are.
No, they will keep coming, right?
Yes.
Because the expectation also increases.
Increases.
We had one floppy disk with for 1.44 GB of data. Now we have like 200, 300 GB in the phone itself,
In
but
the
it
phone
is still
inbuilt.
not sufficient. Right?
Yeah.
So like that, the expectation of people will increase, which means that the use of software will also increase, and the software needs to get enhanced every time. So it is never going to like, we are done with this software, okay, I have done this banking software, now this will be used forever. This will never happen.
So with the consumerism directly affecting the software solution building, that's what I understand. So the more the consumer expect better solutions, the more
That
software
will be the
development.
nature of our life itself, right? So maybe long back, getting food itself was a luxury,
Yeah,
right?
luxury,
If you
yes.
get 3 times of food, it is a luxury. But now food is no more a luxury. You go for next things,
Yeah.
right? What is the next thing?
Yeah.
So now we'll care for the quality of life, all these things, right? So
Yes.
later, probably if AI do most of the things, then we'll go back to how we spend the life more effectively, or what adds to the quality for the life. This is
Yeah.
how we'll. But somewhere or other way, we will still have need.
Okay. Thank you, Anbu. I think this will console a lot of people who would be worrying about AI replacing them and all. So thank you so much for the point.
Actually, if AI can replace us, we should be happy only. We will get better job.
That's a very optimistic way of looking
We'll
at
have
things.
better things to do.
Yeah.
If AI can replace all software industry, developers, then we have definitely better things to do.
I think what AI would be replacing is the repetitive things.
Yes.
I
See, as of today, it can replace only repetitive things. Maybe in future it can still advance. I feel still the patterns that we will have to solve
would differ.
Would differ. Every day it will be keep changing.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So every day it will be changing. So still a human person needs to sit there, analyze all these things, and then stitch things together. AI also is learning from humans only.
Yes.
It's not learning on its own. Somebody has created, so it's learning.
Yes.
So if I go to Google and search, then I'm still copying. But then AI consolidates all the copies of everybody's work, and then it consolidates it. So still we are getting some human work through AI.
Yeah.
AI cannot create content on its own.
Yes, that's true.
AI cannot create. It's not AI. Artificial intelligence means you have to create content, right? Human evolution is like that.
Yeah.
You do certain things, then you add the next step, right? You add the next next incremental thing. Not we are doing, everybody are doing.
Okay.
Somebody is doing that next incremental thing, right? That cannot be done by AI.
Okay. Yeah.
We get that benefit.
Oh.
So we are not getting the benefit of AI. We are getting benefit of somebody else through AI.
Okay. Okay, Nambu. Now, how do you approach in building high-performing technical teams? And what's the process that you follow while taking critical architectural decisions under pressure?
See, critical architecture under pressure. Always, if you have clarity on what is required and how things works,
okay,
I feel at least it's not going to be a struggle. What we need, right? What kind of architecture we need is not going to be a struggle at all.
Okay.
But what can influence is, for example, maybe the other side effects something can bring, or about TCO or availability of certain things, or people familiar with those things. So all these things we have to consider.
Okay.
So with the technology, how much familiar people are with that, how much support are you going to get. So all these things we have to take. But regardless of critical pressure or not, I feel there is a right decision always, right? You have to always take a right decision, whether it is under pressure or not. I would do the same.
Okay.
So under pressure, do we take a different decision or not? Unless there are some political reasons, we don't need to really worry about. My feeling is pressure doesn't change the architecture.
Yeah, pressure doesn't impact your decision making in any ways.
Yes, because we know what is right. Maybe there are certain other factors, though, being right architecture, efficient architecture, but there might be other reasons why we may not sometimes go for not the real efficient one, but the next one, right?
Okay.
But for various reasons, like what is the supportability, how much are our people familiar with it, how
Okay.
easy to learn.
Yeah.
So all these things
The resource
might
consumption.
resource consumption, all these things, or even sometimes cost or availability or various other reasons, like how good is the team will continue the support for that architecture.
Okay.
So all these things will impact. But usually once you know, considering all these factors also, if you decide what is best, then that doesn't change whether it is under pressure or not.
Okay.
Right? So all we need to take is a right decision. That's it.
Mm.
In that right decision capability, I won't say it's limited to our knowledge, right?
No. Yeah.
So at that point of time,
Yeah.
what kind of knowledge and experience we have, we can make a right decision only that. That's when we include like multiple eyes, right? So the others, we also have a review of the architecture with the other peers, or there is a kind of central architecture board or something where we present some, we get ideas from others.
Yeah.
They might see what you are not seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a standard template, I think, mostly in all companies that they would follow for the architecture review.
Okay.
So there you will get really good insights, right? So might be something we have overlooked.
Okay.
The other would look at it and address it. And we will also get, if there are some problems, we might also get opinion from others. You can also contribute, like if somebody else is bringing their architecture, you can contribute your idea. So there is usually a standard practice how this architecture do you have, from where you start and where it ends.
So it's a collaborative effort.
Collaborative effort, yes.
Okay. Now, with all that being said, how do you focus on building high performing technical teams? Do you follow any process? Do you have any approach?
See, usually the way I'm not saying this is the standard way, but the way it worked better is start small.
Okay.
Like a very small number of people, build something. Initially, though you have, finalize the architecture, you might have to implement it, right? So there might be some findings which will again slightly influence the architecture.
Okay.
So start smaller, build some basic kind of framework,
Okay.
or the building blocks, what is required, then you increase the team strength. So I feel this model works better in my experience.
Yeah.
If you start immediately with a kind of big bang, then it is really difficult, because you have to bring everybody to the same point of view, or it might get difficult at some time.
Okay.
But if there are clear things which everyone usually knows, there are no much surprises, then you can also start bigger. But my feeling is, if you start small, especially if this is a new architecture or something which we have to really kind of disruptive or groundbreaking, then it's better to start small, build the basic building blocks, then you increase the team. But have the kind of expectation ready, or what kind of processes we are going to follow.
Okay.
Right? So what is the kind of design review process, code review process, when the backlog is reviewed, what are all the done criteria.
Okay.
We have to also set the expectation, right, where we cannot relax what is more important. So all these things, if these are set clear, and if we also show an example of living that, then everybody will follow, is my opinion.
Okay. So to build high performing technical teams, we don't have to break our rates. Start small, build people around, and make them understand what we are doing.
Also set the
basic
process.
set
when the team is small itself, you have to set the process.
Yeah, that's a
experience the
very
process,
important point.
fine-tune.
Yeah.
What works for one team may not work for other team, or maybe when things change, we need slight adjustments. But once you have the standard process, fix it, and do not relax on the process. That is more important thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks like, yeah, it's a small thing, why we have to go through such a tedious process, but that is what is going to leave big holes when there are complex things as well, right? So even if it is small, yeah, it looks like an overhead initially, but do not relax on the process. You are going to set whatever I said, right? So basically the review process, or whatever it is done, criteria.
So get the process rates standardized, and then the teams will automatically do better.
Show some example as well. I feel we have to, with the initial smaller team, already this team should be an example.
Mm.
When you build smaller team, it's easily you are able to easily
Easy
influence
manage.
the team so that everybody is in the same frequency, right?
Yeah.
So then when anybody comes, they will automatically
Fit in.
into the same frequency.
Okay. So that's a very good point. Having talked about building a high performing technical teams, how do you groom young engineers, people under you, to do well in whatever the role they are in?
See, I don't do it like a grooming activity or so.
Yeah, I mean, even when people come to you for code reviews, design reviews, or discussions on the backlog that they are about to do, there is certain things that you do that actually helps. I mean, I have benefited. That's what I term it as grooming.
See, it's
Yeah.
like a win-win situation. You have some expectations,
Mhm.
right? For example, when you came to me, I have some expectation because things needs to move smoothly.
Okay.
But then I can also see like what really benefits a engineer, right?
Okay.
So, a developer.
Mhm.
So when you see someone is beginning their career, what really benefits them also, like for their lifelong, what are all the qualities they can take through,
Yeah.
or what are all the qualities they can acquire and possess,
Okay.
right, throughout their life. So
Mm.
this starts from the beginning itself.
Mm.
So I feel it's a chance of both,
Mm.
right? So one is you get the quality output so that your product is also good.
Mm.
At the same time, you put yourself in place of that person, like what you would have I told, right? So I like the coding, so
Yeah.
now I have a vision of like how it can be done, or what really brings that happiness when you do certain things in certain way, right?
Yeah.
So when you do a nice coding, you really get happy, or
Mm.
it's like playing a video game. That's how I always feel.
Okay.
So when that output comes, or when things fit, everything fits in together, and you have an elegant way of design, so everything will fall in place when you again increment it with additional features or so, right?
Okay.
So that kind of thinking, yeah, as I said, uh, as a developer, if somebody comes to me, I will keep them in my position only, right?
Okay.
What really helps them also. So it's like both. I don't see that they are different, I am different, or something like that. It's like, as a developer, what do we do? What is really like the enjoyment? That's how I see it.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not saying that I would be. I'm still doing the best coding or something like that and all. But whatever I know, I try to do
And
the same
help
for
engineers.
the developers. But it's not like I have a grooming activity or so. It happens
In the
throughout
process.
in the process, throughout the work. There is no specific like grooming session or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. So now coming to the tech stack selection. Now you have so many solutions under you for which you keep selecting tech stack. So what is the basic criteria, or what is something that you keep in your mind while selecting any tech stack for building any solution or for any project?
See, for me, the scalability and efficiency is the primary thing.
Okay.
Scalability, efficiency, TCO,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. So TCO, total cost
Cost of ownership, total
Ownership.
cost of ownership. It's a very scalable system. It is efficient, but it costs
Cost you
million,
much.
right? It's costing $1 million. No, that is not a good solution.
Okay.
How can we extract the best out of
Little.
right? That is where the interest goes. So yeah, it should be affordable. I mean, the total cost of ownership should be as minimal as possible.
Okay.
We can go to an extent that it is not further possible to minimize it. But again, you have to compare, like, even if we cannot go like damn cheap, but then it takes so much of development effort, because development effort is also costly.
Okay.
But in cloud world, we used to say don't consider much of development efficiency, but the maintenance cost, right? So because that is going to be like, if the maintenance cost, if the cost is like 1 million for one customer, with 1,000 customers it is going to be 1,000 million, but development cost still remains the same.
Yes.
So weightage still goes with the total cost of ownership than the development cost. But we have to do a balance also, right? So we should also be able to maintain it, not too extraordinary complex that a new person comes, they are not able to understand at all. And so those things also we have to, it's like a
combination of things.
Combination of things, but the primary goes to total cost of ownership with scalability and efficiency and resilience factors. So that is how we take. But again, we may have some experiences over the period. It's not like nothing is written in stone. What we take today may change tomorrow. Based on our experience. Also, the technology is evolving.
Yeah.
So nothing is written on stone. But at that point of time, with all the knowledge we have, the experience we have, we try to make a decision.
Okay.
And also with others, that's where this review, all this process goes. So the others, the collective, with the collective knowledge, we make a decision.
Okay. So now that you already spoken about scalability and resiliency of the application. Now, how do you focus? How do you approach in building scalable and resilient architecture?
So by default, I would not see this as a separate thing. Like you build an architecture, then make it scalable and resilient.
Okay.
So by maybe that needs a kind of mindset change. Also, I don't know, but at least if I start now, this is how I feel. Think like the by default, implicitly the scalability and resilience should be in place.
Okay.
Otherwise, at least I am not able to think otherwise now. Maybe what I would have done some 10 years back, I don't know. But if I do it now, that's how it would come. The scalability and resilience will be implicitly part of the from the scratch.
Okay.
Design. We should keep it in mind.
Yeah.
But always, if as a kind of then if it is. It's not always. I mean, this also comes with experience, right? What is scalable? If it becomes like day-to-day activity for you, then it comes implicitly. But then if you start something new, then we have to ask this as a separate list of questions. Again, we can. There are various tools that can help. Tools in the sense, a kind of checklist you can have.
Okay.
For example, for what serves for one customer, can it serve for 1,000 customer? What it means? Is it like linearly scalable? What are all the resources that are scaling? Are they linearly scaling or exponentially scaling?
Okay.
So you can easily see. Or is it like even if we can keep it flat, it's even better.
Okay.
Don't have to think separately like scalability and resilience, but initially we may have to think. But as an engineer, for example, you are now starting in a cloud oriented development, right? For you, I feel it will become an implicit part, right?
Yeah.
So
as the years progress, as I grow,
it will become an implicit part. Because this is how you started, right? For someone who started maybe in an on-premise world, again on-premise, I don't want to degrade them because again scalability is required there as well. But only difference is it's not a shared infrastructure. It's for one customer. So we had some edge or can be a bit relaxed in on-premise than in cloud. But I would say regardless of whether on-premise or cloud, for that on-premise solution, whatever you need, the scalability, you should still have it there, right? So now as the years goes, it only keeps improving, right? We have a lot of tools to support us. Tools in the sense there are various methodologies and all. I'm not talking about software tool.
Okay.
So various methodologies, thinking, and also a lot of online knowledge available. Even you can use like something like AI to find out easily instead of going through thousands and thousands of things. You can easily get what works well. You can easily understand
already. Now, in this fast paced world, the world is rapidly changing in whatever means. How do you recommend professionals to stay updated? So what do you recommend professionals? What advice you would give them?
At least professionals, if you ask, I think it's software industry is very rapidly changing, I can say, but I feel we don't see that as a change because every day it becomes part of your work, right?
The learning becomes part of the work in itself.
So yes, that's true.
Okay.
If the learning becomes part of the work, maybe it might happen like in some rare cases, I do not know, at least the work environment we have here, you will be I mean, whether you like it or not, you will be up to date, right? Because the nature of work itself forces you to be up to date, right? But rarely, let's take an example of somebody maintaining a mainframe computer in some remote desert, right? So this also happens. For them, the work, by the nature of work, they will be in that one. But still, I don't say, as I say, the core principles are always same.
Okay.
It is not going to change. If you are strong in mainframe computing also, then I feel switching to cloud AWS based development in Java or Node it's not going to be too difficult at all if
Okay.
you are strong in the core principles.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, if you see that as an administrative task, you follow some other's pattern, you do not understand the details of it, why you are doing certain way,
Mhm.
then it looks like a drastic change, right?
Okay.
Still, I'm not saying it's like a cakewalk or so.
Mhm.
You will still need some effort, but then if you are
Eventually
strong
you will
in
learn.
eventually you will learn. If you are strong in core principles, now switching to a new technology, I feel it's not going to be. It's a matter of few months, but with now AI, all these things, I think it's a matter of few days or few weeks only, I can say.
Okay.
Um,
So it's not that you have to put so much effort in keeping yourself updated. It also depends on the environment
to
you are
be
in.
strong in your core principles. That's what I would say again and again.
Okay.
You don't worry about, okay, now blockchain has come, I have to learn blockchain.
Mhm.
I do not know how many of us has learned blockchain. I mean, still it's used somewhere.
Yeah.
But if you have an application
Mhm.
of blockchain within SAP or any software company, then you'll go and see, okay, what technology is used, how it works. If you logically understand, I think
It's more than enough.
it's a work of a week or so to understand and use it in your day-to-day job.
Okay.
So any technology is like that. Again, AI also it came like a kind of big bang, but then yeah, if you understand how it works, it's a matter of few weeks
For you to learn.
for you to, I mean, how to utilize AI, all these things, right?
Okay.
So again, without the open AI, now there are also our own machine learning models, all these things. So all goes in the same direction.
Okay.
So we should have a need. Then if you are strong in core principles, then learning that is going to be really easy. If you're not strong in your core, I would say you get that fast, then learning the new technologies, because if that is not strong, anything is going to be difficult and it's not going to help. But if that is strong, it is a matter of few weeks. Then you don't need to keep learning everything that is coming, right?
Yeah.
Day to day there are so many things coming. When it demands, you will go and fetch, but if you see that it is going to helpful for future, at that time at least you can focus.
Okay. So, dear viewers, even in the previous episodes, if you have already watched, all the experienced, all the experts, they keep stressing on the having the basics right. Everyone that I talk to, they are reiterating on this, getting the basics right. So, even you get your basics right, that's where it's going to help you. So that's where we are wrapping things up. Thank you so much, Anbu, for your all the insightful inputs to the viewers, and it was an exciting conversation. I loved it. I hope the viewers would love too.
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah, again, thank you for inviting me here. I also enjoyed the conversation. Thanks a lot.
So until the next video, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.